and welcome to Shelly Speaks. I'm Jaychele, your host, and this show is brought to you by bodyslam.net, and I'm so excited. I have a super special guest, everyone's favorite commentator, Kevin Gill. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What up, though, to the whole bodyslam.net universe? It's an honor to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
We're so happy to have you. You've done some amazing stuff this week, so it seems like I'm catching you at a really good time. But first, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you eat some good food? Did you celebrate with family? How was that?
Yeah, it was just me and my lady friend here in San Francisco, and it was a multi-stage vegetarian Thanksgiving feast. No fowl was harmed in our extreme feasting, but yeah. We just finished up the fake turkey last night, so it's kind of a bummer because we still have some garlic mashed potatoes and etc. Some of the sides still remain. You know how it goes.
Yep.
But it was great, all things considered, very fortunate. And like you said, it's been an incredible week. There's a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about some of that. And I think we should start with your hot sauce. I'm very intrigued. I want to know, what's the first thing you're gonna put it on, or do you already have it? Like, did you put it on stuff already? What was the first thing, or what is the first thing?
Man, I'm looking forward to cooking with it. Like, I would put it all the places I put buffalo sauce currently. I'm weak in the sense that I do still eat the animals from the sea. So buffalo shrimp burger, buffalo shrimp in any style is one of my favorite things. But also, as boring as it sounds, like a buffalo tofu, a buffalo cauliflower. I'm just going to run the range of all my favorite buffalo-based dishes, including a new favorite that I just discovered, the buffalo ranch salad. I don't know if you ever had one. It's outstanding. It's wonderful. They have them at Trader Joe's. If you have a Trader Joe's near you and you want to put your toe in the water, it's delicious.
Okay. Can you pull back the curtain for me? What was it like getting to create that sauce? If you can't say, it's fine, but I'm just intrigued.
Sure. Well, I'm working with Snack Season and Rich Steve, and they're known. I mean, they do sauces for everyone from Effie to Mid Cardona and a whole slew of top wrestling talents. So they're really the kings of the sauce game. They also made an incredible Jimmy Lloyd sauce. Can I use a profanity on here?
Yes.
The name of the Jimmy Lloyd soy sauce is "You're fucking with a different soy," and Jimmy Lloyd, and it's the greatest soy sauce I've ever had. Like, I think I'm not super big on spicy shit, like everything being spiced or hot. I should say hot. Things being hot to uncomfortable levels isn't my scene. So I'm so used to the boutique hot sauce scene being like, this thing will fucking hurt you for weeks, or this thing will make you uncomfortable. So when they came out with the Jimmy Lloyd soy sauce, it sounded so interesting to me. So I contacted the people who make it, and I was just asking them questions about it. And then I tried it, and I couldn't believe how dope it was. So I kind of became friendly with the people there. So we just started talking about sauce, and we were throwing words around like verbal flame and things like that. And we were trying to think of what sauce we could make. And for me, it's buffalo sauce is the OG spicy sauce. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's to me a revolutionary flavor out of the great Buffalo, New York region. Right. And it just feels so as far as the collaboration, it was really, it's me discussing vibes and tones and some of the ingredients, and the Snack Season and Rich Steve being in the kitchen and tweaking and getting it there. And as a homage to all our plant-based friends, it's a vegan buffalo as well. So it's pretty exciting. So I can't recommend Snack Season enough, and the sauces are almost gone, which is incredible to say. So I hope everyone grabs one from Snack Season, and the information is on my social media and all that. But I've got to do a lot of things in a lot of different mediums. But you have no idea how geeked I am that I have my own buffalo sauce. So I can't wait.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get it. I was telling Cass, he was like, "You're gonna have to ask about GCW stuff." I was like, "I want to ask about the hot sauce first. That's what I care about. I think that's super cool. I haven't really seen anything like that, like people just being able to create their own hot sauce and stuff like that. And buffalo is all the rage right now with buffalo chicken pizza and all that stuff. So it's really cool also. So
another great sauce they did to shout out Snack Season is they teamed up with legendary deathmatch wrestler Orin Veidt, and they did his cowboy honey mustard. And honey mustard is probably my second favorite sauce, if you will, after Buffalo. So whatever, just hats off to them. They do great work. And the fact that they're supporting independent wrestlers and independent wrestling and all that while raising the bar for what's possible in hot sauce. You know, it's not just red burning sauce. Like, it's all your favorite sauces with unique twists and great labels. And mine comes with a free limited edition sticker as well.
Wow, I am so excited for you. I'm definitely going to buy it now. You definitely sold it to me. But you did have something else that, I don't know in relation to you how cool it is, but it's very cool. You guys sold out the World on GCW show. I don't know how to say it. I've been saying it like 4 different ways whenever I talk about it. Hammerstein. What is the right way to say it?
It's funny. I'm from New York, and I grew up saying it one way, which apparently is wrong. And then I had the new way down pat from Brett Lauderdale from GCW. But then I listened to Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive, and Brian Alvarez always says it wrong. So I get, in the moment, I don't know which one is right anymore. I think it's Hammerstein. But Hammerstein is how I grew up there, and it was called Hammerstein Ballroom. But I guess it's tomato.
Yeah, I think we'll just go with both. I'll use them interchangeably so nobody can tell me I'm wrong. But I want to talk about that. How are you feeling? That's like a major accomplishment. It happened in like 2 or so days, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the official count was 37 hours, I think, from the initial public on sale to sold out. And it's not just sold out, it's already now confirmed as the highest, I guess, in terms of tickets sold. It's the most tickets sold ever for a professional wrestling event at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And then once the event has concluded, it will then be the highest attended wrestling event of all time at Hammerstein Ballroom. And when you consider what events have been there and who's been there, particularly the original ECW shows that were there, the One Night Stand, and the kind of ECW return and reunion shows, not to mention Ring of Honor in New Japan. There's a great legacy of pro wrestling at that building. And to sell more tickets than anyone ever sold in the shortest time imaginable. And there's, what's the main event? Not announced. Who all is on the show? Like, they've announced the core GCW roster, the crew that's all going to be there, the people you always see at GCW.
Right.
But you would expect for something like this, there's going to be something extra. But the idea that they sold it out, I mean, when about 95% of the tickets were sold, or I should say, there was 100 tickets left when they announced Eddie Kingston and the Briscoes and obviously the Briscoes hold the gold. They're new to GCW, while Eddie Kingston is not. It's his return. But it's just amazing to think about. It's not like there's this super marquee match. Like, it's not CM Punk versus Nick Gage. Do you know what I mean? And that's selling out the building. And it's just crazy to think about, because the spirit of GCW, the experience of GCW, the track record of GCW is what's selling the tickets. You know what I mean? And how do all those things happen? It's because of the incredible talent and the fans that support it. That's the formula to me,
Yeah. Every wrestling circle I'm in, I'm always hearing that GCW is a promotion that people are able to like sink their teeth in right now. And the promotion that's really on the rise, the promotion people can get behind. But I just really want to know, what are you doing to prepare for this event? Because this obviously has to be like huge. And like, if I was you, my mind would be like going a million miles per hour. Like, what are you doing to get ready for this?
It's crazy to say, because we have GCW has so much stuff in between here and Hammerstein. You know what I mean? We have Dallas, we have Houston, we have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day in Atlantic City. Then we go back to Detroit and Chicago, and then we do Hammerstein Ballroom. So there's so much talent and so much amazing stuff happening. There's no day off. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to sometimes think ahead of things like Hammerstein until you're there, or for me, it's till I'm there. Like, when you're standing in the empty building in the morning or whatever, you're watching the ring go up, and it's just like, I can't believe I'm here. You know what I mean? But I've always been that way. It's hard for me to think about it or process it too much, because it's almost like, how is this even real? Do you know what I mean? And but it's very, very real, man. And it's all due to Game Changer Wrestling and the fans proving that if you deliver a wrestling product that fans want to see, and you listen to the fans, you end up with a amazingly compelling product. You know what I mean? That doesn't insult the viewer or the viewer's intelligence, and it delivers what we're all fans of. What are we all fans of? Everyone that's watching this, hearing this, everyone that goes to bodyslam.net is a fan of wrestling. And it doesn't matter whether you're a fan of the Mid-Atlantic era in the 80s or the WWE Attitude Era or the AEW era or any of this stuff. It's your love of wrestling is what brings us all here. And some companies seem to want to make it that it's not wrestling. Do you know what I mean? But I like wrestling. I love wrestling. We all love wrestling, and having being on a wrestling show is the greatest feeling in the world. It's not something else that has wrestling. It's wrestling, and wrestling has everything. You know what I mean? It's not a limitation.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the show. I was gonna try to make my way down there, but it's not really looking like it's possible because I'm about to go to college soon. But I will definitely be watching. Cass will be there. Cass got like the 5th ticket left or something like that. Always pushing to the end. Yeah, it was like super early in the morning too. Cass sent me a picture of the ticket. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember it was like 12:50 or something. I think it was like 12:49 or 12:50 a.m. on the West Coast. So yeah, it's real early on the East.
It was like 3 a.m. I was awake because I knew you guys were gonna sell out that night. I was like, I just want to watch it happen. So I just stayed up for it. But I want to kind of pick your mind about commentary. I think it's a very interesting part of the business that I honestly don't even know that much about. So what is your process like getting ready the day up? You said you wait until around the day up to kind of process stuff, but like, can you walk me through a day in your life, the day of a show?
Well, the day of a show is it's interesting. It can vary very much, and it depends on the city, but and travel. But it's usually just get to the building either in the morning or a few hours before. GCW is like a family operation, so to say. Like, in other words, there's not giant. There are people obviously in merchandise and travel and etc. But you know what I mean when it's time to set up the building or set up the chairs or someone to take tickets at the door. Sometimes if you come to the show, I'm taking your ticket at the door. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes when we did our first show in Detroit, I was taking tickets at the door, and the first match was the Scramble, and there were still a ton of people to come in, and everyone's music is playing as everyone comes out for the Scramble, but I'm still taking tickets. So once the final person's about to come in the ring, I ran back and did commentary. So days like that are different and more hectic. And an ideal day, a perfect day, is when I get to the building a few hours before, and everyone's there, and the atmosphere is conducive to conversation and et cetera, where I can just kind of touch base with everybody and see where the wrestlers are at and what they're feeling, and anything pivotal. You know what I mean? Like, what is the most crucial thing about this wrestler in this moment? Like, what is their vibe or what is their essence? You know what I mean? Are they the wounded warrior that's looking to prove they still got it? Are they you know what I'm saying? Are they the top dog that never lost it? What is the essence of kind of both who they are, what they're doing, with an infusion of what's new? You know what I mean? Like, just to have a vibe to kind of like filter things through. You know what I mean? Because then if you know, like if I'm talking to Matthew Justice and I know that the night before he drove across the border and went to a concert in Mexico and was like stage diving and going crazy and stayed up all night and is now killing it in the ring. Yeah. And the viewer would never know that the guy's been up all night or doing all this crazy shit. Sometimes seeing it through that filter and understanding where the wrestler is at mentally, physically in that moment, I feel like those are things that you can add to help paint that commentary picture that a lay person, someone who's not a commentator, might not have access to the people or even have relationships with the people, the talent that make them willing to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Right. My next question.
Oh yeah, sure. But that's basically the gist of it. You know what I mean? And then there's I also I like to not know stuff. You know what I mean? Wrestling is wrestling. We all know how it works, but I'm not one of those people. If some crazy thing is about to happen on the show, unless I need to know for some specific reason, a safety reason or whatever it might be, don't tell me, because I like just to react. I don't want to know who's winning, who's losing, who's here, who's not here. I don't want to know that because I want to feel it and feel it and kind of reabsorb it and beam it back out in consumable sound bites.
Right. My next question was going to be about if you do any research or anything like that, but that sounds a lot like what you were talking about, is doing actual research. I thought the most basic way to do research would just be to like go online and look at somebody's last match and
Oh,
try
absolutely.
Okay.
And a lot. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's great, especially people that I do a lot. The benefit of GCW is you get it both ways. You get the people you see almost every show in terms of talent, but then there's always so many new faces, so many people that haven't been here in a few years or are making their debuts. So with them, I like to do just more, anything I can consume publicly, like if they've done interviews, what they've been doing lately in their matches, where they're from. That's a key thing too. Like just knowing someone, knowing who they trained with, especially when they trained with someone who's amazing, someone who's part. Like a good example is ASF, Alberto San Francisco, who's a big star out of Houston, but he's becoming more internationally known now through his work in GCW. Is ASF, or Antonio San Francisco? My bad. He's out of Laredo, Texas. He's trained by the Laredo Kid in them. And that scene, though, is like a community. So they're all in like this wrestling scene where they're all together all the time in the ring. And that's why their work is so incredible, because it's not just something they get in and do on the weekends. You know what I mean? They're building their art form at all times. And when you know what the scene in Texas means to them and what where they come from in local wrestling and all that, it helps to me establish their brand. You know what I mean? And I think that's important, and just understanding the essence of who these people are. And yeah, just any, but the challenge is, though, the more breaking edge or cutting edge a talent is, the less public information is available. You can get match results, but you don't necessarily get an interview or a real feeling of the person. On the flip side, of course, when a big star is coming in from Japan or somewhere else, you can really read about them and watch their matches, but it all just varies.
I bet you had so much fun researching Matt and Chelsea when they came in.
I know a lot about them. I feel like their social media leaves nothing to the imagination.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So they're interesting. You know what I mean? Matt Cardona is very interesting, and his YouTube numbers and his wrestling figure sales numbers and all that stuff speak for themselves. And I don't often have anything good to say about Matt Cardona, but since we're here on this positive platform of bodyslam.net, I would say that I think it's great what he's done in launching his new figure line and giving so many wrestlers like Danhausen and Nick Gage and all these people that opportunity to have a really, really state-of-the-art action figure. You know what I'm saying? Not a wrestling doll, but an actual action figure. So that's definitely a great thing that Broski is doing. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'll just leave it there.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, speaking about Chelsea, actually, one of my favorite parts about GCW is when the women are featured. The moment with Thunder Rosa was amazing.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And I know like a lot of people want to see some more women as well. Do you have any thoughts on this? And are there any female wrestlers specifically that you would like to see pop up?
Man, I mean, well, you talk about people like Ali Catch and Thunder Rosa. I think they're two of the best going today. You know what I mean? Just best wrestlers. You know what I mean? Even if you take gender out of it, not a men's wrestler or a women's wrestler, just wrestlers. Charlie Evans, I thought, had an incredible showing for Game Changer Wrestling here and everywhere else she's been now in the U.S. and overseas. I think she's top of the food chain. Lady Frost, I think, is someone who I feel like she's getting attention, but she's still not getting the level of attention that she should, because I think she's a very special talent. And I'm sure I'm omitting some, but those are the couple that just spring to mind. And that Thunder Rosa moment that you talked about, I've talked about that a lot. The fucking roar unannounced when she came through that fucking curtain was incredible. And I got to Thunder Rosa came up on the Northern California independent scene out here, and I got to call a lot of her early matches and stuff like that. I always believed in her. I thought she was a star or whatever. It's great to see her on the level that she's at now. But I went to see AEW when they did the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, and the first match that went out in front of the sold-out house was Thunder Rosa. Yeah. And the fucking crowd went insane for the entrance. It was like it was so hot that so many great things happened that night, but I don't know if the crowd was ever more white hot than they were for Thunder Rosa. And that's such a cool thing to see, because certain people in wrestling, they'll tell you that women can't draw, or they can't be the top act, or they can't be the top merchandiser, or they can't connect with people, in levels like, like The Rock or Hulk Hogan have, and etc. But those same people then manipulate the scenarios to undercut the women performers and to make their prophecy true. In other words, oh, this can't work, and then let me undercut it and sabotage it until it doesn't work, and then I was right. You know what I mean? That's, I think, a terrible way to do business. And I think it comes back to listening to the people. You see it in GCW, you see it in AEW, and I see people say similar comments about AEW and GCW, in that people think there should be more women's matches and more women featured. And I think in the case of both cases, both companies, you're starting to see it more and more. Is Allie Katch is a foundation, a cornerstone of GCW, and she often just fights. She always fights other wrestlers, but primarily she's done a lot of intergender wrestling. But seeing someone like Thunder Rosa and seeing these other top talents that are all poised. Heidi Howitzer is another talent that I really appreciate. Oh, Sandra Moon is incredible. I got to see and work with her a few times lately. So I think as the talent bar rises, and as talent becomes as undeniable as an Allie Katch, as a Thunder Rosa, and all these other people we're mentioning, I think more and more opportunities will be created. You know what I mean? And the most important thing fans can do is support the wrestlers you believe in. The more you support them and put them over on social media and all that stuff, the more the companies see and understand the fan base and what it's worth to their bottom line. That, Thunder Rosa equals eyeballs. Thunder Rosa equals asses and seats. You know what I'm saying? On top of an incredible performer in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Thunder Rosa. I wrote an article about her, about how she's a revolutionary, and it couldn't be further closer to the truth of how strong of a competitor she is. And she's a pandemic era talent too. We could just make this whole interview about putting over Thunder Rosa because I love her so much. But I think it's insane that she joined AEW during the pandemic through the NWA, and the amount of growth that she's been able to have and the reactions that she's getting now. And when she eventually takes the title off of Britt, the moment's going to be amazing. So I'm super excited for her and all of her success.
And shout out to Tony Khan for seeing in Thunder Rosa what we see and what we know. But he saw something in her. He backed her. He believed in her, and he went above and beyond to do whatever dealings or whatever happened to conclude her NWA contract and sign her to AEW, which, of course, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a way better move for her career. So, and it already is. Yeah.
Super excited for her. Love her. But I do have another question. Do you have any goals that you would like to see GCW achieve in 2022? Do you have, I know some people map out and write down their goals for the next year. Do you have any for GCW in specific?
Man, for GCW, we had a tour of the UK that was scheduled and then had to be canceled during the pandemic era. I'd love to see GCW fulfill those dates, you know what I mean, and make it over to the UK. It's a dream of mine to just participate in a wrestling show, to be involved in an event in the United Kingdom, in Europe, for wrestling. So that's a big one for me. I want to see GCW go back to Japan. I want to see GCW go to Canada, Mexico, San Francisco, Seattle, Boston. Those are some dreams. And there's
Boston, I'll be there. I'm
oh fuck yeah.
So yeah, I'll be come to Boston.
me and Brett Lauderdale do the official GCW podcast on the GCW Patreon, and Boston comes up a lot in the mail sack from fans and supporters who want GCW in Boston. So you're not alone, and Brett has an affinity for Boston as well. So I think maybe some New England-based dreams will be coming true in the new year. But I would just like to see GCW and all its wrestlers continue to shine and elevate and to do what people think is inconceivable for an independent to do. How can an independent promotion sell out the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City with no headliners and no main event announced? You know what I mean? I put headliners in quotes because obviously Effie can fucking headline a show, the Briscoes can headline a show, Eddie Kingston can headline a show, on and on and on. But it's wild to think about it. It's truly a wrestling revolution, and it's powered by the people, and it shows you the complaining seems that like you could have 100 people complain and it's like a 1 on the scale of 1 to 10, but if 100 people support something, it's like a, you know what I mean? Like the energy and the momentum is so much more, and I think this is a great case of that. It's a snowball rolling down a hill, and everybody is kind of reaching out and giving it a little push as they walk by. It's way easier than 1 or 2 people trying to push a boulder, you know?
Yep. That's a perfect analogy. I think that's a great way to end the interview. Is there anything that you want the fans to know? Do you want to call out anybody like Denise Salcedo? We've seen.
I'm going to get you, Denise Salcedo. Denise Salcedo's been talking a whole hella grip of shit online, Denise Salcedo. But just look out when you least expect it. When Sean Ross Sapp can't save you, there I'll be. Your boy KG, former friend, former ally, but it's all gone south. It's all turned sour because of you.
That was
all
amazing.
Right. But enough about Denise Salcedo. I just want to send a shout out to everybody that supports and believes in Game Changer Wrestling, and everyone that believes in and supports in me. It's an honor to be a part of such a monumental wrestling entity. I always say that, you know, if GCW is the amazing cake and the wrestlers are all now I fucked it up. Because I started flipping it to a donut recently, but I wanted to go back to cake to make it even better. I'll go with the simplified donut analogy. Like the GCW talent and event and the crew that makes it all possible, they're like the most amazing dinner plate sized donut you ever saw. And then all over it are all the sprinkles and sauces and all that shit. Like I'm one of the sprinkles, you know what I mean? I have my little job to do, but the monumental nature of what's there and the experience that's there truly speaks for itself. And I just get to put a little sprinkle on that dinner plate sized donut. So I'm honored and thrilled to be a part of it. I appreciate the love and support. Follow me on social media at OG Kevin Gill. I have a store at dignifiedbastard.com. I have one at Pro Wrestling Tees. And of course, Snack Season Sauces. Please buy my sauce. And GCW on Patreon. Patreon.com/Game Changer Wrestling. There's a myriad of exclusive podcasts, behind the scenes content. You get early access to ticket on sales. There's merch drops. There's all sorts of stuff that happens, and it's a great way and a cornerstone of how GCW was making crazy moves before the pandemic and before Patreon, but now having this direct line of communication with the most diehard and dedicated fans allows us to keep raising the bar, man. And we appreciate every fan on every level, whether you're on the Patreon or not. If you love and support wrestling, we love you.
That was amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Make sure you guys go follow him on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, also at Jaychele Nicole. Our handles are right on the screen if you're watching via YouTube or anything like that. But make sure you guys are subscribing to bodyslam.net, checking out all of the articles I'm writing over there, and following us on Twitter as well at bodyslam.net. And this has been Shelly Speaks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good day.
And don't forget about the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame that's going on the night before GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom. So far, Jerry Lynn is going to be inducted by Sean X-Pac Waltman. Homicide, the God himself, will be inducted. He'll be inducted by the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson. Just announced Dave Prazak will be inducted by who knows. And Ruckus will be inducted by Sanjay Dutt. A very special night, a beautiful venue, sit-down table affair. It's going to be special. Please support it.
Yes, guys. Go check out everything that GCW is doing and make sure that you're supporting them, supporting bodyslam.net also. Have a great day, and thank you for tuning in.